Welcome to our Jurassic rewatch.
That's not how it goes.
Three unqualified morons with microphones. This is the previously recorded podcast. Welcome to Jurassicly Recorded, the final episode in our Jurassic rewatch, brought to you by our T Public School. Cut that. Is brought to you by our T Public School. Can somebody else say it?
Yeah, I got you.
It's brought to you by
Our T Public store.
Thank you, Bob, because I could not get that out. If you want to go support the podcast, buy some merchandise, buy a magnet t-shirt, fedora, whatever. It's on there. Go check it out. Links in the episode show notes. So go check that out. So to help me today to finish off this rewatch, I do need the help of Dr. Bob Grant and Dr. Shane Malcolm. Welcome.
It's Bob Malcolm and
you got it
Shane
backwards.
Grant.
Oh, I'm so fucked.
This guy doesn't even know the names of his co-hosts.
I do have to actually start off this podcast by correcting myself. So I'm an idiot. I fully admit that I'm an idiot. So for months, I have been saying off the cusp for so long, and it's off the cuff, and I'm a fucking idiot, and
Like
I
taking
apologize.
things for granted.
Yeah. It's just what I mean is just just right up without thinking, and the phrase is off the cuff, not off the cusp. Like
I feel
I've
like you
been
did
saying.
one that was wrong the one day, but I don't think it was that one.
Yeah, I
It might not have been on the podcast. I just remember you saying something that was like not.
I say things wrong all the time. I 100% thought that was the correct thing to be saying.
Well,
And
you're
then
not that far off. You can be on the cusp of something. You just can't be off of it.
Yeah, so
You were just getting. You were on the cusp, and then you were getting off.
I was on the cusp of realizing I was wrong. So I just wanted to apologize for my for being illiterate.
Who are you specifically apologizing to? That's my
Our
question.
fans,
okay.
and
They've
not
been up
you
and
guys,
on about it?
not you guys, because you guys didn't notice.
Yeah. I haven't been
I
able
guess-
to go on Twitter because the fans have just been so toxic about this.
They've been sending death threats to my house. I don't know how they got the address, but they've saying if I swear to God, if RP says off the cusp one more time.
Yeah. They sent me a letter in the mail as well. It was just someone's penis, and then they said stop saying off the cusp, but it was actually just cut out of letters from a magazine and pieced together.
So my dad,
It was dastardly.
my dad did say he meant to send that to me. So it went to the wrong Robert by accident.
You know,
So-
that's a classic mail mix-up.
You go over your dad's house and there's just half cut out magazines laying all over, strewn
I
about
like
the
the
house.
idea that he sent it to the wrong guy, like you called the wrong person in your phone.
he kept
It's not like there's a lot more that goes into sending a letter in the mail to somebody.
he kept calling me asking if I got his letter, and I said, Dad, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And
2022,
then
Dad.
eventually,
Stop sending letters.
after about 3 weeks, he said, I realized I didn't send it to you.
He
So-
said, I made a terrible mistake.
He wanted to apologize. I guess I'll do it in person.
I don't know
But
what he's
just-
sorry about.
Just like
But that thing's gotten me through some rough days.
they do call him the Lucky Willie for a reason. But
Happy Father's Day.
yeah, right. Yeah, happy Father's Day to all your dads out there. But you know who owes us an apology? It's Universal for making a lackluster third entry into
Is it
their.
for making a trilogy at this point, though?
Yeah, I think so. But before we get to that, I'm gonna spin the wheel. Okay, so it landed on favorite drink. So what is everyone's favorite drink?
Alcoholic, non-alcoholic.
Either or both. Tell me.
Hmm.
The wheel this week is a little tame. little bit more tame because we're
We got sick of doing dinosaur sounds, so we're just kind of like throwing out some random nonsense.
Just like we're sick of talking about dinosaurs too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sick of dinosaurs by any means. I'm always very excited about dinosaurs, but
I'm sick of the Jurassic Park franchise.
The Minion kind of just took the dinosaur out of me.
The Minions or Dominion?
I thought he said the Minions too.
The Minions.
He said Dominion.
The Minions are fine by me. I've never seen any Despicable Me movie.
The first one's good.
Never seen any Despicable Me related.
Actually, all three are fine. Like the 2 and 3 are still
Is
good.
there
The first one is really good.
3 or is 3 Minions?
No, there's a third one.
There's 3 and then Minions.
Minions
and now there's another one.
Minions was ridiculous because it was just them the whole time talking.
So there was just no
gibberish.
Actual English.
Yeah, not really. But what is your favorite drink?
Rise of Gru is the new one.
That's the new one. Yeah. Like we're all curious to see how Gru came into power, so you're gonna find out.
I've been asking
July 1st on Friday.
So I'm happy that they're fixing that for us.
Yeah.
Favorite drink is so broad, so crazy.
Well, just narrow it down. Just do alcoholic then. And you can't say Busch Light.
We're not just saying beer, right?
No. Yeah. Your favorite drink? Obviously.
Drink. Well, it's a Tommy C then, obviously.
Tommy C. Tom Collins, baby. Shane, favorite drink?
I don't know. I might have to go Long Island on this one.
And I was thinking Long Island.
Love me a Long Island.
They are delicious, but
they fuck you up.
Yeah, you can't keep drinking them all night. I mean, I can't do that with Tom Collins's either, unless I have Tums like actively ready for me.
You can't, but you do.
Yeah, White Russians are pretty sick too. If you're not, if you're just looking to fuck your stomach up, White Russians are too.
That was a tough day for the bartenders at your brother's wedding when that was his specialty.
So my brother's wedding, my brother doesn't drink.
Shout out to Brian, brother of Bob, who's a listener
on the podcast.
He's 100% he's 100% a listener because last week I threw in my Letterboxd name and I got a follow from him that afternoon.
I still don't even know what Letterboxd is, so I'm glad that he does and he's taking care of that.
Appreciate his listening.
Doing the family proud. But my brother doesn't drink.
The fuck are you cracking up at, Shane?
Sorry, I had to mute it because our balcony door is heavy and she was just struggling to close it. She was like pushing all of her weight into it and just wasn't moving.
My brother's not a big drinker, and for his wedding he didn't know what his signature should be, so I made him a White Russian one day and he was like, this is the signature drink. And everybody's like, that's a terrible idea, there's so much cream. And he was like, no, we're gonna do it.
It's just milk. Like, you don't want people drinking a bunch of milk at your wedding.
Yeah, well, we did drink a bunch of milk, so stop.
But White Russians are amazing, though. It just tastes like chocolate milk. It's awesome.
I think I drank about 15 of them that night, and I survived.
There was a line. There was a line to the bathroom all night.
I would have such a tummy ache the next day if I drank that much milk.
It was good because I had 15 as well, and I was fine. So maybe
milk I was good. I guess it's just the idea that they use cream instead of milk. I don't know if that helps or not, but.
Maybe if it's half and half, it is a little bit better for you. I will say my favorite drink is margarita. I love margaritas. Lime on the rocks, delicious. Okay, well, with that being said, let's get into discussion of Jurassic World Dominion. All right, so Jurassic World Dominion released 2 weeks ago. We saw it. Jurassic World Dominion opened to $145 million, which is pretty good. I believe it did make more than the last one. Not positive. So,
off by.
I think Bob read 148 million. We mentioned it in the last episode.
148. So it was off by 3 million. Okay. Jurassic World was 208 million.
Yeah, Jurassic World broke the box office. So, okay, it's still the lowest opening of the Jurassic World franchise, which is whatever. I mean, I'm not really surprised by that opening based on the, they don't really drive. I mean, I think that's a very, very good opening. I don't know why I'm acting like it's not. It's a fantastic opening. It's like it's more than Top Gun opened to, but it's less than the Batman, Strange. So I think it might be the third highest opening box office of this year. Critical response is 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. from the critic score and the audience score of 78%, which is higher than Fallen Kingdom. And this is a little surprising to me that this was the audience score.
I think, why is that surprising, if you don't mind me asking?
Because
that it's higher than Fallen Kingdom, or just that it's that high?
It's just that it's that high.
Oh, okay. It's definitely better than Fallen Kingdom.
It was better than Fallen Kingdom. I think slightly better. I think it just made more sense than Fallen Kingdom, I think.
Yeah. It was better written, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Plot wise, not necessarily dialogue wise.
Yeah.
Well, like we kept saying, like Fallen Kingdom felt like a setup for this movie, but then this movie just kind of didn't deliver that much on that setup. It was just kind of whatever.
Yeah, it was the way I phrased it, it's a very forgettable movie. It was a movie. We saw it. The interesting part about this film is that they released the first 5 minutes. It was probably last summer. It was a kind of a ploy to get people back to theaters. They put it in the IMAX in front of one of Universal's movies to say, hey, come now, see it in IMAX. We'll show you this 5-minute preview. It's the first 5 minutes. So it was supposed to be this. It's not in the movie. It's the scene it's a prologue, including a prehistoric.
That's the one that Nick talked about.
Nick talked about Fallen Rock or something, which was something else that Trevorrow did on his own. Where this was just like they released it officially as, hey, this is the first 5 minutes of the movie, and it was a prehistoric prologue that set in the Cretaceous period, during which the Gigantosaurus, which something I thought was made up. I didn't even, in this movie when this dinosaur came out, I said, oh, this is like a new one? Like, I had no idea. But it was a battle between the Gigantosaurus and it kills a T-Rex. And the prologue.
I think the Gigantosaurus is the one with like the horns.
Yeah, it's whatever is.
It still looks like a T-Rex. It just has horns.
Yes, yeah, it's whatever's at the end of the movie when they fight, when the T-Rex fights. But the prologue was supposed to set up the present day rivalry between the T-Rex and the Gigantosaurus, and it would have helped make a little bit more sense. I mean, we didn't need it, but it would have helped make a little bit more sense. But they cut it completely from the movie, and Trevorrow said it was because of the runtime. Universal was pressing them for the runtime. We're already at a 2.5-hour movie. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's Shayna just has horns on the head. But that was just interesting that they cut that, because I think that would have.
We're already at 2.5 hours. We can't go 2:35.
Yeah, exactly. 5 minutes is a deal breaker there. But instead, yeah, whatever. So we went and saw it. It's just going to be kind of a quick review here. We're not going to do necessarily a deep dive because, one, it's not fair. We've only seen it once, and it was like 2 weeks ago. And two, I don't really want to do that. So
as always,
I don't think any of us want to do that.
I'm going to ask the question I feel like I always ask. Spoiler free or spoiler eligible?
I don't really think there's anything spoiler filled in this.
I mean, just like plot stuff if you haven't seen it, but we've given you 2 weeks.
But also, I always say this though. Why would you be listening to this episode if you're not up to date on stuff?
I know, but I like to ask.
I appreciate the kindness, Bob. I do. Yeah, go. Can
I tell the story about my friend who was trying to buy these tickets the other day? It's one of the funnier things.
So, opening weekend was 2 weeks ago. This past weekend wasn't. So tickets were a little bit easier to get, but Bob's friend had a story, and it's pretty.
My friend wanted to go see it. His dad wanted to see it on Father's Day, so I was with him on Saturday, and he was on the app, and like he was a little intoxicated, and he seemed like he was doing just fine, and then he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "They gave me Lightyear tickets instead of Jurassic World tickets."
They gave me
I was like, that's not. They didn't just decide that you clicked on Lightyear. Like you definitely fucked that up. But anyway, so he gets asked for the refund, and they kept the convenience fee of $4. So then
I've never had to deal with that.
I gotta get the picture so I can read the email. So he's all like upset about the $4.
Well, to be fair, I would too, but I've never had that issue because I'm a member.
Yeah, you're part of an elite group.
Yes, I am.
So he sends this email.
You're part of the group too.
I know. I just was letting you know it's an elite group.
Oh, thank you.
This is at least 10:30 Saturday night. So do the math there. We were at an engagement party that started at 4. So you can tell where he's at. Please refund. This is 2 AMC theaters. Please refund my $4 convenience fee. I didn't order Buzz Lightyear tickets. My dad doesn't want to see that movie. That's the part that fucks me up every time. My dad doesn't want to see that movie. And then he shows me the text on Sunday. he was like, hey, they gave me Lightyear tickets by accident. And his dad says, what happened to Jurassic World? I don't want to see that movie. Like, his dad said that. I ordered Jurassic World and you gave me Buzz Lightyear tickets, and that is unfair. United Artists would not do that. Please send my refund.
That's funny. Actually, while we're on the topic here, United Artists does charge a convenience fee even if you are part of their club. So
I told him I was waiting for AMC to send him like a screenshot of United Artists like policies. Actually, they would do that. We're keeping your $4.
Oh, I meant Penn Cinema. Sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah, that's actually super funny. I haven't gotten the chance to see Lightyear yet. I did hear that underperformed at the box office.
Are you interested in seeing that in theaters?
I would. I would. But I would see anything in theaters.
I was saying, is that like, yeah, true. Like for me, that's not something I'm like. I want to get to Buzz. I want to get to Lightyear before it comes out.
So we were supposed to go yesterday. We were going to take my dad and the whole family, and we were going to plan it. We were going to go to Top Golf, so we were going to do it after. But timing wise, we couldn't get to Top Golf till later. Which was awesome. I had a great time. So we didn't get to go. And if I didn't see Paul McCartney on Thursday, it's probably a good chance I probably would have went on Thursday to say it. But I
seen an Audrey at that point.
I would have seen if my dad wanted to go because my family loves Disney.
Yeah,
and we all like who doesn't like Toy Story? I think it's a completely unnecessary movie.
Yeah,
I think for Pixar, Pixar's so original with their shit that I'm kind of surprised that they're doing this kind of movie.
Well, it's just it's Toy Story 5.
I know. It's also the first animated movie made for IMAX, which I think is pretty cool. I would not see this in IMAX, but I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, I hope your friend gets his convenience feedback.
I'm going to follow up with him later in the week.
I would appreciate that. So anyway, this movie was Jurassic World Dominion was made for $185. $185 million.
Wow, they really crushed at the box office then.
Yeah, 20 millions was not
20 million is a steal. So then it was, they've made their money back. And, off the cuff, what were your initial thoughts, guys?
It was extremely average. I wasn't disappointed in it because I wasn't really expecting much more, but I wasn't like blown away at all. It's like you tweeted right after the movie. It was a movie. Some dinosaurs went roar. Chris Pratt was super sexy. It was whatever.
Laura Dern was looking fuego too.
As always. Bob got his Laura Dern in the rain scene. He was happy.
I didn't want Laura Dern in the rain, but I'll take it.
Oh, you wanted Claire.
Bryce Dallas Howard has to be in the rain.
Yeah.
There was rain. There was rain.
Of course there was rain. It's Costa Rica. It's all it does.
They weren't even in Costa Rica.
No, they were in Italy.
Oh, see, that's how unforgettable this movie is.
Yeah, they never went to the island.
I think you mean how forgettable, Shane. You just said how unforgettable.
How unforgettable. Shane, we can't speak to that. Shane actually has been thinking about this movie for the last 2 weeks.
He's seen it 6 times. He
just doesn't want to be embarrassed when we say that it was okay.
Yeah.
He actually painted a mural.
He did.
On his back wall.
I'm actually I threw this crew neck on real quick because I'm wearing an I Heart Jurassic World Dominion shirt, and I was embarrassed. I wanted to cover it up.
That's a mouthful for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big t-shirt.
That's everywhere all at once.
I had to go a whole size up just to let it fit.
So that's
it's like the athletes when their name goes like sleeve to sleeve.
Yeah. Bob, what did you think?
It had the same vibe as like the recent Star Wars trilogy, I think, where it was like, oh, cool, dinosaurs. We still get to see dinosaurs. Oh, cool, old cast members. Like, you had Laura Dern, like you said. You had Jeff Goldblum. You had Sam Neill. So, like, that stuff was cool. And the Easter eggs, there's a lot of, like, fun Easter eggs throughout the movies that, like, the fact that we've rewatched them, and I've watched Jurassic Park, the original, like, twice in 2 weeks leading up to it. Like, I caught on to real fast, which was cool. But, like, overall, the plot was meh. It felt like it was becoming, like, a Fast and the Furious type situation where it's like, all right, you could just have dinosaurs. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, dinosaurs are cool enough. You don't have
like, they keep just trying to do more and top every other movie.
You don't have to keep one-upping it. Like, hey, there's dinosaurs in the world. What's the problem with it? How are you going to figure it out? But then they brought in, like, whatever those things were The bugs.
Oh, the bugs.
What
Those,
did
like,
Nick say?
moths.
The one with the crickets?
Yeah.
The cricket movie. He called it the
Cricket
cricket
movie,
movie.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I give them credit. So, like, what I liked is I actually do give them credit for trying to do something different. They had to. You know, it's their sixth movie. The bug thing was interesting. I thought it was a attempt to do something different, and it not just be like a dinosaur got loose.
But that's the thing, though, like that we've talked about. They had 20 minutes of dinosaurs loose in human world.
Yeah,
at
like
the
that's
end
it.
of Jurassic Park: The Lost World. That's the only time they did it was in San Diego.
Yeah, I guess.
And so you could have had that movie as a movie. Like, all right,
like,
what are we gonna do?
It just wasted time. Like, I felt like everything in the beginning like was just kind of shown to us to like show us what was going on, and they didn't really do anything with it. Like, it was okay, cool. Owen's wrestling dinosaurs on a horse.
Yeah, he was like
a cowboy.
herding dinosaurs.
He finished his cabin for the most part. Blue is just staring at him. She's kind of obsessed with him. Didn't like that. I did enjoy that they brought back the Barbasol can finally after 5 movies.
I think I said something about it afterwards.
But I didn't realize that villain was supposed to be Dodgson.
Yeah, like the fact that he had the same name, like he was Dodgson.
Yeah.
So there has to be, because Dodgson is the one who meets with Nedley. I forget his name. Nedry. Yeah. In the first one, which is Newman. That's why I forget his name, because he's always been Newman to me.
Yeah.
And gives him the Barbasol can. So, like, that's the thing.
Barbasol can got I know what you're saying. Yeah, sorry.
But you acknowledge that that's the same person, or they're related in some way, or that's a name that's common. You still have the Barbasol can, but you don't address what that connection is. Like, am I supposed to assume it's the same guy?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, because like I didn't even pick up on it. I wasn't like, oh, that's who that. Like, I told somebody else. Well, they recasted the guy. That was also because he was like a pedophile or something.
It's the guy from the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So it could have been the same, but that guy didn't strike me as a billionaire genius. He was some scumbag trying to steal stuff off the park for a company.
Yep.
So like the only reason that I picked it up is because after we watched Jurassic Park for the rewatch for that previous episode, the one that we previously recorded, we watched
just like he said Dominion.
Yeah.
So
point at the screen, do the Leonardo DiCaprio thing.
Goldblum drops the word Dominion in the movie, and we all like freaked out.
We all nudged each other. Like,
he was like, "Listen, this isn't some kind of Jurassic World Dominion we got going on here."
He actually said it exactly. Shane has seen this movie 6 times. That is how he said
this isn't Dinosaurs 3 with the one with the guy playing Mario.
He said, no. Actually, this is Dominion. That's a bad Jeff Goldblum once again.
It's good enough. But I watched Jurassic Park again. I think like 2 days before we saw it.
Oh yeah.
It was like fresh in my head.
I didn't even really realize that's who that was supposed to be until you leaned over and said it to me.
I loved Goldblum in this. I thought Goldblum was great.
Goldblum was my favorite part, I think. I like Sam Neill and Laura Dern too, but
animatronics were great. Claire in the water scene I thought was great, and DeWanda Wise as Kayla Watts was fantastic. I thought she
loved in an instant.
I did. I felt hard, man. She is hot tamale, let me tell you. But I thought she was an awesome new character.
I thought that it was going to be.
I did think it
Malcolm's daughter for a while.
Yeah, because she said her name was Kayla, and I was like, oh, okay. Isn't that the name of his daughter in the second one? But I think her name's actually Kim, or something like that. So I leaned over to Bob. I was like, I think that might be Goldblum's daughter, because you know how everything's got to be connected in these movies. But we're
usually pretty like well behaved. I think because of the amount that we've rewatched, this probably is the most that the three of us have talked to each other during a movie.
I think so,
in any movie-going experience I've ever had.
Also, everybody was just fucking talking in the movie.
Yeah, nobody fucking cared. There was no rules. I was getting angry at first, but then there was like everything was just like a lean over. I went and took a piss in the middle of it. RP went and took a piss in the middle of it.
Yep. And then you know what I missed?
Much timed out.
You know what I missed? Nothing.
I literally came back and said, "What did I miss?" And RP said, "They walked down that hallway."
Yeah, that's basically.
Well, you guys both left during like real dialogue.
Well,
heavy
I
scenes
left
that, like, you don't
during
really.
I left during when they were in the Middle East, which was the most un-Jurassic
Nah, they
Park
were in the Middle
feeling of the
East, yeah.
movie. They were in it, or maybe wherever the hell they were. Was it Italy or they
I
were
think
in
they were.
Italy, not at the Middle
Yeah,
East.
they were in a
Sorry.
different part of Europe. I don't remember if it was Italy or not.
His daughter's name in the Lost World was Kelly.
Okay, so Kayla, it's very similar.
Yeah.
They could have had a falling out, and she could have changed everything about her. So that's why I was like, maybe. And then Bob pissed during the scene where they just have to collect like a DNA sample,
They were going to get the DNA from the crickets.
and the chaos just ensued.
But the chaos hadn't ensued yet. They were literally in the elevator. By the time I got back, they were just getting there, and it wasn't a quick piss. Let's put it that way.
No, it was like a 5-minute scene. And I really think they underused the original crew. I think they were so underused. They could have not been in this movie, and the movie would have been the same. I liked how it felt organic, how they met up though. Like it didn't feel like stupid or like contrived. Like it wasn't rushed. Like they were together for the last maybe half hour of the movie. Like that's kind of
Maybe
really
45 minutes, but yeah, like the beginning of it for sure they weren't.
Yeah.
And then,
I was just gonna say I like how they kind of like they each had their own stories that were told separately. How like you'd see a little bit of the old crew, then you see a little bit of the new crew, and it wasn't just like a forced team up.
It helped the pacing too, like when they did that.
Yeah.
But it also they changed the backstory of the clone girl, and that made me angry because that just undoes. She let those
reason dinosaurs are out there.
Yep, and I fucking hated that. So, and it was too. I think it was too long. It did not need to be that long, but whatever.
I don't think it felt super long.
No. But I wasn't in the. I agree because I wasn't in the theater staring at my watch. But I have no desire to rewatch it mainly because the longest Jurassic Park movie before this was 2 hours and 8 minutes, which is the last one, and this one's 2.5 hours, which is kind of the normal for movies nowadays. How long is the original?
Like 2 hours.
It's like 2 hours 4 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 2 hours flat almost.
So I did not love this movie. I'd probably put it above Fallen Kingdom.
Where would you put it out of 10?
Like stars?
Film wise, yeah. I mean, we could do 5. I don't know. Isn't 5
out of 5? I gave it 2 or 2.5 because I gave Fallen Kingdom, I think 2. So that extra half. I think it's a better put together movie than Fallen Kingdom, but it's not a very good movie. It's a very whatever. Like I don't really have much to say about it. That's what
Can we talk about the Raptors? That's really the only thing I want to talk about.
Of course, we can talk about the Raptors.
And the T-Rex, but why are Raptors just never fast enough?
Yes. Okay. Please talk about this, please.
Bob, like we've talked about it before, and then like this movie just made it like so much worse. So at one point, Claire is running from Raptors, and they just can't catch her. Right? She's just running just a little bit faster than they are running. Then they're on a car, and they just can't catch her. They're just a little bit faster. Then Owen is on a dirt bike, and he's just a little bit faster. So I can't get a gauge on how fast Raptors run.
Yeah, and
people don't run 70 miles an hour.
And like he's almost like trying to get on the airplane, and they're like right in speed with them. But then Claire is, like you said, and Claire's so fucking slow.
2 problems with that too. I just looked it up. Velociraptor is estimated to be able to run about 25 miles per hour.
Well, in the first movie, I will say this.
So that means
they say that they could run like cheetahs.
So that means
hype them up for Jurassic Park in general.
So that means Claire is approaching Usain Bolt level speeds to be outrunning them. And also, is that dirt bike going through the city only going about 30 miles per hour?
That plane was also only going 30 miles per hour at that point too, because he gets on the plane as it's taking off.
I will say that was probably my favorite part of the movie. That was probably the most exciting part of the movie, was that whole motorcycle chase where the guy got eaten by
on the scooter
that you guys fucking lost your shit at. You guys
we were cracking up.
I know Shane has texted about it too. The other day I saw a lady riding one of those scooters, and I just laughed to myself now.
I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking somewhere else on the screen, and I saw him get eaten. But you guys like paid attention to him the entire time.
Dude, strolling through.
Just strolls through these two T-Rexes.
Yeah, on like one of those motorized like electric scooters. And then
fucking
just like the
bozo.
top half of his body just gets swallowed.
Yeah, I saw him get eaten, and I did laugh. I was like, that's
It's
funny.
just like the idea, like what are you listening to on your headset that you like? What podcast do you have on previously recorded? Probably.
I hope so.
You're so unaware that there is two gigantic dinosaurs facing off in this little park that you're rolling through, and he's just like, I can squeeze through these two.
I gotta get through. Guys.
I
Come
gotta
on.
get to the coffee shop.
Yeah. I thought
So,
that
do you think
this whole
that guy on the scooter, do you think if a velociraptor was chasing him, it would have like just been right behind
It
him?
wouldn't have been able to catch him. Well, he's not a main character. It would have caught him.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
And then like Claire puts up like a pole and it knocks the T-Rexes out, or knocks the Raptors out as they run.
That part I liked.
I liked it. That whole scene, like even I didn't like how they upgraded the Raptors to now like you just have to put a red dot on them and
They were laser.
like kind of like we're the Indoraptor from the last one, but the whole underground world where like they're fighting each other and like I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This is how the world would probably be if.
But that's the movie I wanted.
Exactly, and that's why I like this because I was like, it parts of it didn't really feel like a Jurassic World, but like it felt kind of like just like in a normal action movie with around dinosaurs, and I enjoyed it. That scene in the city is my favorite part of the movie. I think it was cool. The chase scenes were like, because I remember sitting there watching it and I was like, this movie's not bad at all. Like this is good. And then then the rest of the movie happened.
Then they went to a sanctuary, which was essentially just another park.
Exactly. It's like the same thing.
I think I said it on the last episode. I wanted this movie to be like how Rise of the Planet of the Apes got it right, where how like you slowly see them take over. And then like the world would have been all overgrown and they would have been like fighting to survive with like just dinosaurs living on the earth again. And that's what I really wanted out of this movie.
Like Marvel and I were talking and we were like, I'm not leaving my fucking house. If there's dinosaurs out there, I'm not leaving my fucking house. Why
are people still like in the ocean with that giant fucking thing floating around?
Because I don't think there's a lot of them.
There's enough to make me scared.
No, absolutely. The ocean I would get, though. Like, if there's one thing in all of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the ocean I get, yeah.
If that thing is sighted near a beach, I'm never going to that beach ever again.
100%.
Yeah, I would just go up the road.
If a certain part
I'm not going to Wildwood.
Just go to Ocean City. It's fine.
Like, if a certain part of the beach in Wildwood has like a shark sighting, I'm never going to that part of the beach again because I'm not risking it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, Owen Grady, I get it. He's, the hand trainer or whatever. But like,
but those people would have to exist. Which, like, as much as I said that, like I said it after we watched it too. As much as it's ridiculous that he's herding these dinosaurs on a horse.
No, that makes sense to me.
But like, I don't like the logistics doesn't make sense. They would have it would probably be a different way that they would go about doing it. But they would have to exist. Like, hey, we got to get these dinosaurs to this little area where they're going to be penned in.
Yeah.
Or like the Triceratops farm where they were breeding them. Like those things would 100% exist. I would say the first hour 15 of the movie
was fine.
Is what I wanted minus the crickets. They're locusts, but I like calling them crickets. It's funnier to me. I just don't feel like somebody be like, oh, they're not crickets at some point. I know what they are, but
you address the haters. But
that's what Nick said.
I agree because but in the beginning of that movie, she's like, this T-Rex is, or this, I keep calling every single fucking dinosaur T-Rex, and I don't know why.
There's only one that matters, and it's the king.
This Triceratops is sick. And it's like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, it was just there.
I wanted them to address the idea, which they did briefly, but like not enough, that Claire was just actively trying to make up for being a piece of shit. Like they do it in Fallen Kingdom a little bit.
And they straight up just do it here. They're like,
but that needs to be just the beginning, though. Like that needs to be her entire character arc. This idea that she thinks she needs to save all these dinosaurs
because she fucked up so bad.
She fucked up, but then they take her daughter, and that's what it becomes. It doesn't become a dinosaur thing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They took
how
her
you
daughter that she took in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, they took her because she was gonna die if not.
They kidnapped that girl that Claire and Owen kidnapped.
But they saved that girl. I think it's a little bit different than a kidnapping. But they also, again, a struggling relationship. You just throw a kid in the middle and things are fine.
Well, like they don't go back. Like they take the daughter, the kidnapped girl, however you want to, whatever, tomato. Yeah. But they take the girl, and then the idea that Claire is still like super fucked up in the head because she was a piece of shit to all these dinosaurs is like gone. Like that should have been her entire arc.
Yeah, that it's just like the missed opportunities here. Like, I don't know, Trevor. I'm not. I think as one thing I've learned from this series, I don't think I'm a huge fan of Trevorrow. He's written all of them, like his writing, his directing is fine. I didn't
What
have
else did
any
he
issues.
do?
I don't know. He's done. He did one other thing that I've seen.
He was supposed to do Star Wars, right?
Yeah, and his Star Wars that he wrote with Derek Connolly, who did this also, we were all really hyped for that, and and maybe it's a good thing that it never got to that because clearly, like he struggled with wrapping this one up. I think.
I think he struggles with characters too. Like the characters don't do anything.
Really, the only thing on his everything on his thing is safety not guaranteed, and then really it's just all Jurassic World.
This says he was a
The Book
writer
of Henry.
on what is that? Rise of Skywalker? Which yuck.
Well, yeah, because he was originally supposed to do that. So he wrote a draft of that script, so he still gets a credit, whether they abandon everything from that film.
Oh,
So he
okay.
still gets a credit on that. So they could have done nothing, but he wrote a draft of that script.
What's
That's just
the
like
Book of Henry.
It's got Naomi Watts.
I
That was
know,
him.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, what is? Well, I don't know. I've never even heard.
I would like to see him. I know he did a smaller movie that got him this, but I would like to see him doing something else. What he does next, I'm curious to see because I think he's got a good eye for action. I think he just writes like he's in 1970 or 1980. I just don't think his writing is that good. I think Claire was better in this movie. I thought that she was redeemed a lot. That she wasn't annoying. She wasn't the damsel in distress. Kind of thing, and I enjoyed that about her character. I think they really split her and Owen up for the majority of the movie. But I think that's all I really have to say about Jurassic.
Is Owen's character arc that he's just a man and you're not?
Yeah, he was less superhuman in this one. I will give him that. The only thing that really pissed me off is that he fell into the water and got out, and they're in the freezing cold. And it's frozen water, and he got out of that water like nothing. Like you're at least shaking. He was running. They were standing outside. He wasn't even shaking. He was soaking wet. I'm like, I can't deal with this. This is inconsistent here. I don't like this.
I also didn't understand how there was snow and then like a tropic.
Well, I think just they were so high up on the mountain. That is my
like
guess.
that. You got to be fucking high for it to be snow. Like that's like a 3-day fucking excavation for there to be snow. Not like all right, let's come down from the mountain now.
They also should have been dead when that plane crashed, right? It crashed into the ice. They should have been dead. It's just, I'm glad. Like I haven't thought about this movie until
I allow that in movies.
It's fine. Yes.
Were they completely unscathed? Yeah, they were. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They should have had some broken bones or something at least.
At least
like,
a
make
cut
it
on your face.
Come on.
Yeah, but then they can't save the world afterwards. Shane with a broken arm.
He's got 2.
He does have 2.
You just have to work on it harder, you know?
Guy was dodging bullets last movie.
Guy was jumping through T-Rex chompers.
Just to spice it up a little bit, I spun the wheel and it landed on what is your favorite food?
Can't get any good ones today.
Well, what's a good one?
Will hates us. Favorite favorite drink are wild things to bust out on episode 96.
They are still learning about us though.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
We've had 3 years to think of these answers, so make it good.
I think my favorite food is just pizza because it can come in just.
Pizza's the easy answer. I always say pizza
because you can get it in so many different varieties.
Pizza, I think, is the one thing that I could easily eat every day of my life, and I don't think I'd get sick of it.
Yep, I love a breakfast pizza. Love regular pizza, all that stuff. So that's mine.
Well, going based off of that, I think I'm inclined to say a burger then, because you can switch a burger up any way you want.
Would you eat a burger every day?
I don't know about every day, every other day for sure. I don't know if I could eat anything every day though. I'd get sick of it.
No, I get that.
You could.
That's like always been my justification for pizza.
You could
Burgers,
really
I
switch
have to
it up.
be in the mood for a burger. Like I
think I could do a burger at least twice a week though.
I will very rarely.
I could do it twice a week
at a restaurant.
Really? Yeah, same here. But like Shane, you can mix it up so much. Would you do burger, bun, burger? So then your burgers are your buns and the buns in the middle. Would you do that?
No, but I would replace the buns with 2 more burgers.
Yeah, you don't want to take the burger out of the middle. That's where it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you
So
could
we're
do
doing
lettuce wraps.
burger. Is
Yeah.
your sandwich.
Yeah, I want a triple decker.
All
Is
right.
a
So we
burger a
have
sandwich?
yes.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making. I believe it is. I'm just making sure.
Is now is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes,
Yes.
it's the
Two
same
pieces.
logic.
Yeah, it is the same logic. Just because the bun isn't fully sliced.
It's like saying a
That's-
hoagie is a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, hoagie's a
I just
sandwich.
said a hoagie, so Philadelphia, by the way. It's like saying a hoagie isn't a sandwich.
You're not in Philly, Bob. You have to.
I know I'm in
stop-
Warrington. It's rubbing off on me
You
right
have
now.
to, you
What do
have
they
to
call them
take
in
it out.
Warrington? Like subs or something?
I don't know.
Audra's family calls them subs, and it's fucking ridiculous.
I don't talk
That's-
to people up here.
That's horrible.
I get in, I get out.
They also don't call
Katie's,
water
Katie's
ice.
from New York. They call them heroes. I hate it.
The only thing
Yeah, I
I
can't
talk
wait
to
for
in
my-
Warrington.
I can't wait for my Iron Man to come in and say, like, what the fuck? Hero. The hero's so dumb. It's like, oh, what do you want for
Is
lunch?
it spelled GYRO too?
No,
Nah,
that's
hero, like HERO.
no. You're thinking
That's
of
what
like
they call it. What?
you're
I
thinking of
always
the
thought-
Mediterranean food.
Yeah,
That's what
Hero
New York
gyro.
calls it, a
That's
hero.
what it was.
Yeah, the fucking morons in New York call it call a sandwich a hero because they're fucking dumb and they, you know, I don't know. It probably honestly probably has like super like historical like meaning like when they were starving in New York, the immigrants they needed a sandwich and this, or they needed something to eat and sandwiches came in and saved their life, and that's why they're heroes. It's going to be something like super cool or historical, and I'm going to be a piece of shit for making fun of it. Like, that's just what's going to come back.
Now you're good. The term likely comes from New York Herald Tribune columnist Clementine Paddleworth. What a name. Who in 1936 described a sandwich so large you had to be a hero to eat it. Wait, so I like read through that before I announced it, and I didn't even look at the name. I was just looking at the facts, and there was in parentheses a thing that said yes, that is her name, but her name was Clementine Paddleworth. That's fucking incredible.
Your face, you went, what a hero, what a name.
Yeah, what a name! Because I like skimmed through it and just didn't the first time just missed that name. So then I read the whole sentence out and was like, "Wow, we're getting."
Oh boy!
I
that
hit
went on.
Clementine. I was like, "All right, that's a lot." And then I saw the last name and I was like, "Oh wow!"
So our favorite drinks on here have been answered, and our favorite food has been okay.
So
So
if you
I'm
ever
glad
wanna
too. It's
buy a
not
meal-
offensive.
If you want to
If you-
buy a meal for previously recorded,
Yeah, yeah. Send us a meal if you like what we're
it'll
doing.
be a pizza and a White Russian, and I'll die.
Your, your poor bowels. Okay. Well, I mean, that's all I have to really say on Jurassic World Dominion. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up that bothered you or that you liked or disliked about the movie? Maybe one thing that you think the movie could have improved on, and were you happy with how the movie ended? Bob, if you want to start, were you happy with the ending in this movie? And then you can answer some of the other things that I asked.
I wasn't necessarily. I feel like it's still open, which I wanted it to be like closed because I don't want them to do another one of these.
Mhm.
I know they said this is the end of the series, but like there's still a lot of open-ended things happening here. Like how are they going to handle the dinosaurs? Yes, there's a sanctuary, but like
It's just going to coexist. That's really what they said.
It doesn't say how. They're just going to have to coexist. And I'm like, okay, well, that's dumb. Because there's going to be some other corporation that's going to want to take advantage of it and all these other things. But so no, I didn't feel like the ending gave closure, which if it's the last of the series, I felt like it should. So I would change that. I don't know how I would change the ending. But then the other thing I would change, and so like what I did like about the movie, and you said Goldblum you liked, I loved the Easter egg stuff, and I loved Goldblum because Goldblum would call out how ridiculous plot lines were in the movie that he was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Like so Owen's whole thing is that he's getting his daughter back, but he also has to get the raptor for Blue back because Blue has a baby, and he has to get that raptor back. And so like at one point, Ian Malcolm's like, you made a promise with a dinosaur, and then he comes back and the raptor's like on his shoulder, and it was just ridiculous. And he's like, is that a dinosaur on your back? Like just calling him out every step of the way.
I enjoyed that too.
So I did like that.
I also, the line he made about growing a callus on his shin from his dog humping
Both
so
of
much.
us laughed.
I was I was in tears. I laughed so much at that.
He's like, I once got a callus on my shin because my dog would hump my leg all the time.
And he went,
And
true story.
What made us both laugh is he goes, that's a true story.
Shay, what about you? Anything what you liked, didn't like, or did you like the ending? What would you change, if anything?
I mentioned it already. I liked that they didn't force a team up. They let both groups have like their own story that kind of you said organically led to one another. I mean, we've said this all the time with these movies. Their biggest ally is circumstance. Like it is such a circumstance that they all just like happen to be at the same spot to like someone's always at the right place at the right time to save somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's a movie about dinosaurs, so I'll like it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't 100% remember how it ended. Like this movie is so forgettable.
They get out of the sanctuary, everybody's reunited, and then everyone just has to learn to coexist.
Yeah, Laura Dern, Grant and Sadler end up together, which is I like that.
I'm fine with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I like that. They were going to do something in Washington. Goldblum was doing something, and then the happy family of Claire, Owen, and the kid were leaving, and he said goodbye to Blue, who came back for one last look at Owen before he left. So that's how the movie ended.
Leaving it open-ended of like, oh, I guess they have to learn to live together.
It's exactly the same way Fallen Kingdom ended.
Yeah, it would have paid off more if you could have actually seen them coexisting more to see like, will they actually be able to do this or not? Well, I feel like we were robbed of seeing dinosaurs run rampant through the city.
I think so too. I that's what I would have changed. I would have liked to have seen more dinosaurs on the loose. I did like the ending. Once again, it didn't involve the humans. It was kind of like the humans try to avoid some things, and I was like, okay, this is okay. It's fine. I did like the shot of the T-Rex through the circle. That is the logo of Jurassic Park. There's like one thing where like he had these circle like waterfall things on the island in the sanctuary.
Yeah, and like they're like it was just like an outdoor like water, like a fountain.
Yeah, and so the T-Rex sticks his head like on, like you could see through it, and it was the logo.
At one point, the T-Rex faked being dead. It was actually like fucked up. I don't think it was faking being dead, but
I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead, and I was gonna walk out because I didn't. Shit, yes, I'm sorry. I was gonna walk out because if it didn't end with her roaring, I was gonna lose my goddamn mind.
I'm sure there's that's more dinos on the loose, but I liked to seeing the old people again. They were underused, so didn't like that. And then the ending was fine. It was open ended, obviously, anytime they could. But there is a huge rumor that they are going to have a crossover with Fast and Furious, and I don't know how they do that. They're both owned by Universal. It has been a rumor for a long time.
It's fitting. Because they both jumped the shark about 4 movies ago.
Yep. And Vin Diesel was asked about it, and he had a very weird response. So it's very, very possible that they do. I don't know how you make that
dinosaurs are family.
Yeah.
That's your tagline.
Even dinosaurs are family.
They're gonna be riding racing dinosaurs or something stupid.
Probably.
It's gonna be Vin Diesel racing a raptor, but he's gonna win every time because they're just not fast enough.
Those worlds, dinosaurs do not exist. I don't know. I don't want it.
But they could. It's not far fetched.
Unless it's just a one-off thing.
It's less far fetched than some of the Fast and Furious movies. Because in theory, all this dinosaur shit could have been happening. It's not like stuff was happening on the mainland.
I think their best bet is to just do a one-off where don't acknowledge Fast and Furious at all, like their history. Don't acknowledge Jurassic World's history. Just have it happen.
Because Costa Rica they never raced on an island off Costa Rica, so that covers your ass for 4 movies.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to explain is 20 minutes of Lost World.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they don't ever bring up what happened in San Diego, but they're race car guys. They don't care about dinosaurs. True. One of my students said, when you're a kid, I think you're either a car guy or a dinosaur guy.
Yeah.
So, Dom Toretto's a car guy. He doesn't care about these dinosaurs killing people.
I just want to see a Tonka truck roll over a dinosaur, and that's too.
Wow, that's graphic.
Yeah, well, you know how we keep things here.
What kind of dinosaur?
Some compies. I think I'd be okay with that.
I was gonna say killing a
Yeah,
bunch of compies. I feel like
compies.
is like acceptable.
Because I
It's
don't want to.
casualties.
I don't want to kill any raptors because I like raptors, and then all the herbivores are sweethearts, so I don't want to kill them. It's just the two, just the T-Rex as always. But
Maybe that thing that was in the water that kind of looked like it was from Fantastic Beasts.
oh yeah,
That was chasing Owen and.
that's
what was
also
it,
so.
Kayla?
That's my one thing I kind of want to wrap up with. Why does Hollywood keep putting out these sequels to franchises that are just mediocre? Like you have these very not influential, but super popular franchises, and you're just continually like
The
hitting
answer is
history.
in the beginning of this episode. How much did this movie cost to make?
Yeah, $185 million.
And how much did it make on its first weekend?
145.
There's your answer.
You
right
you
It's
just
just
reminded me
probably
what we
a
were talking
bunch
about
more.
what we were talking about the other day with Taika Waititi talking about what his Star Wars movie is going to be, where he's saying like, I don't want to just give you the same old shit you've been seeing. He's like, I want to explore more stuff. He's like, I want to
Yeah.
go to like a galaxy further away.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like
I like that.
I know, like, yeah, sure, Universal wants to just make their money off of this Jurassic World, but the people involved, some of these people are really passionate about it, and it's just like, okay, if you're so passionate about it, if you think this is the best, then you have the execs at Universal that greenlight it. How are you not like, no, this needs to be better? Like how?
I honestly think that
Same thing with Warner Brothers with the Fantastic Beasts series.
I think a lot of writers, and might just be me being critical. I think a lot of writers in Hollywood are just not really great at their job.
It's also probably very true. They
And
get
so,
it on
like,
a hit movie.
They're not doing things because they're passionate about the series. They think that they're writing a good dinosaur movie. It's like almost
Like I want
think of
everyone.
Jurassic World, right? And so like Jake Johnson's character in Jurassic World like loves the entire history of Jurassic Park, and he loves the dinosaurs and all that stuff. So he cares about the park, and he's mad that they're naming stuff the Coca-Cola source, or I forget exactly what he says, like that shit. But then everybody else that works at that park is just collecting a paycheck. And I feel like there's a lot more of them who think that they're really artsy and care about the stuff, but like don't dig deep enough or aren't as like engaged with it as maybe we are sometimes.
No, that's true. I do wish but even like J.K. Rowling, like with Fantastic Beasts, like she cares about this world so much so that she won't let anybody else really do anything with it. And she's still putting out, I guess, like, I don't know how she can look at her work and be like, no, this is great, but she might not care. But Warner Brothers, I don't know. That's above my pay.
Maybe she's delusional and she thinks it is great.
It's possible she could. And I know that's why they.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying that's why they brought Steve Kloves in to help write the third one, which it was an improvement on the second one. Which
I was going to say, like, do you think that it's a George R. R. Martin type situation where, like, one, she's going to put, like, he's the opposite. He refuses to put stuff out because I think he's afraid it's going to be bad. So he's just going to build this world. Like, he doesn't have to finish his story. She finished her story. It was great. But now she's just going to build this world. And whatever she says goes because you can't fucking tell her otherwise, right? So, like, yeah, this is how it happened because I like this idea and I like how this goes. And then the other side of it is kind of what Shane said. Like, do you think that she's just been so successful that she just thinks, like, yeah, this is my idea. It's going to be great.
Yeah. That's probably it. Like, it's just like, this worked before, it's going to work again.
Like, I don't necessarily think that she, like, goes against characters.
No, because, like, she said she wrote Fantastic Beasts 2 for the fans. She was on the whole tour. She was like, I wrote this one for the fans. And she probably thought what she was doing was great. And maybe in a book, if she had 800 pages to do it, maybe it would have been. Yeah. But it just didn't really work. And I don't know. I also don't love David Yates as a director. So I don't know. Maybe that didn't help either. I don't know. It's just but like, this is clear. Like, this is a bad movie. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think so. Like, I know it's just whether if a critic likes it or doesn't like it. It's not, and we gauge this percentage has so much power in pop culture, like the zeitgeist, where it's not a 30%. This is probably a 50% movie or a 40% movie. It's not 30, and I guess that's why we go off the audience scores more. But I don't know. I didn't think this was great. And it just makes me question, why one of the things questioning while I watched it was like, why do they continue to put out stuff that is like mediocre. I mean, and maybe they think it's okay. Again, I'm not behind the scenes in Hollywood. You get so far along in the story, and you're like, oh, this should work. Just maybe it doesn't, or maybe everybody in the studio is like, this is good. We like this, and everybody else does it. I don't know, but like there's things like Johnny Fobbs who's crushing it over in Star Wars with the Mandalorian, and you get these.
Well, that's
people
also
and
Filoni, right?
yeah, Filoni, but
That's kind of a combination.
Favreau's the writer. And then like same thing with Marcus and McFeely for all the Cap movies and Civil War and Avengers 3 and 4. Like you get these really good writers who care about these characters and like these plot lines that, and I guess too, to be fair too, with Jurassic World, you get to a certain point and it's like, what else can you fucking do more of?
So like I'm looking, because I'm just on Rotten Tomatoes now, because now I'm like curious. So Jurassic World Dominion is a 30%. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I just looked, was like a 47% critically. That's why, like, and I think that's what you're getting. Like, we're looking at the fact that like this score means so much to people, but like,
but also
I don't agree with that.
But also it doesn't, because people will go and see it. But like, maybe if this was positive, it may have generated maybe 10 more millions in ticket sales.
Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore's 46%.
Exactly, and like
Spiderhead, which I just watched and didn't hate, was 40. It's 44% critical.
Like it doesn't mean much. Some of it does. Like, and there's movies, like The Last Jedi was 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it does. It just means the critics in Hollywood like it, but. Also, I like the way I view my things. Like most of the time I see what some of these critics say where I'm like, fuck off. Like you're being too critical, but I do see that point, but it still works, stuff like that. I don't know. I just like feel like and I think it's just because the last two non-Marvel or DC movies I've seen have just been like franchises that I like have just not been great. And I just feel like this is kind of the trend in Hollywood, but then you get the rare occurrence where a movie that doesn't even deserve or need a sequel, like Top Gun's fucking amazing. Maverick was fucking incredible. And it's because the people involved in that movie cared so much about that script. And making sure that everything in that movie was perfectly executed.
It's very unbelievable. Like it was like what 30 years later?
Yeah.
That you come out with a sequel. Like how many times have you seen a sequel to a movie that's 30 years or 20 years later or even 10 years later and it stinks?
All the time.
And they put out a movie that was incredible. That much more time has passed.
Yeah, I think once Top Gun Maverick, maybe when that comes out, so I can see it again, maybe we'll do an episode on that, because
I think we should,
because we all fucking love that movie.
It was fantastic.
So that's the end of my rant. I was just saying how it just bothers me how like some of these big franchises put out shit movies just because.
I think those critic scores kind of are telling of that whole thing too, and like it's. The critic scores, and also like the people who are involved in these big franchises, that pisses me off, because like there's going to be movies that come out that I know just based off of their genre, I'm not going to be a fan of. It might be this Academy Award nominated, like critically acclaimed, everybody loves this movie, but it's just something that maybe I'm going to think it drags because it's not something I'm super interested in.
Yep.
So like the fact that the same people are like that's your job, is just a film critic, and I know that that's a job that's existed forever, but I think it's bullshit. Like, you're a film critic, well, all right, so you're gonna already shit on this movie because it's not something that you like up front.
Like, people shit on Marvel movies still do really well on like the critical side, but people shit on them. And we talked about that with Strange, with the guy who reviewed that and reviewed Dune. Where I know
exactly,
and how like it's such a world of the past, but like just my whole thing is just like using that as kind of just a gauge, and how it has just like a kind of bullshit.
I'll look at the audience score.
I prefer the audience score.
Yeah, I'll look at that all the time, because that's what, like, honestly, that's what it should be at this point. Critics existed before because I couldn't fucking walk out of a movie and just broadcast my opinion to the world. So somebody needed to do it. So somebody got a job. Now I can just put it on Twitter.
And now I do like that, like The Rock, when he pushed Jungle Cruise, which Jungle Cruise, I think had like a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it
I
wasn't
like Tom
terrible.
Cruise. It was.
I thought
movie.
it was good. It was good for what it was.
It was a
And
good like family movie. Like it's not something where I'm like, yo, we gotta go see this. But like I
exactly.
watched it. I was entertained. It would be.
Yeah, I
It's a
saw it
good
in
Disney movie.
theaters. It was a good Disney movie. Good. I'm excited about the world they're creating. But he tweeted out about the audience score because he knows that that's what works. People are starting to listen to that more. But anyway, my whole soapbox thing was kind of just like it makes me sad that these franchises that I love don't put out consistently good. And I know everyone's not going to be good. But it's possible when you have something like Top Gun Maverick where the love and the care is put into the movies where I kind of just feel like it's
And
not
I also think
just
that Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise, and it benefited them that they were so far apart. There was no, hey, Twitter wants us to do this, or Twitter thinks this is going to happen, or Twitter wants this, Twitter wants that. Because I feel like that starts to get in people's heads, and they start to make those things happen in movies, and it takes away from the actual like creative process. Like, I don't think any of us going into Top Gun Maverick had any idea what it was about, aside from the fact that Goose's kid was there.
Yeah, I did not. And I heard it was good going in because not just because of Rotten Tomatoes, but they showed it at, I think I mentioned it on an episode. They showed it at CinemaCon and like people were like, fucking loved it. So I like had high, like not high expectations, but I had expectations that because I didn't like the first one. I watched it recently. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was good. And I was like, okay. And this movie, it has to be the greatest first to second movie in the history ever of like quality. And I know there's a 30-year difference.
7 years helps with that.
Yeah, but
35 or whatever it is.
Whatever the fuck it was.
And I think that's why, like when we had this conversation, I think that like if you had been in the 80s and watched Top Gun, I think you would have liked Top Gun.
If I grew up with Top Gun.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But like you're seeing it and you've already seen, like it's like watching it's Temple of Doom, you know? Like when you're watching as a kid, unless you're older and still love it, it's fun. And then you watch it as you're older and it's like hokey and like this is dumb times. And
well, it's funny actually. After we saw Maverick, we came home and Audrey's dad threw on the original one, and I was watching it again, and I was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's like when you watch it the first time, you're like, wow, this is ridiculous. Like this is just.
And so I just have
Iceman biting at him in the locker room.
Basically, we just need we need more people like Tom Cruise, just less insane, and more people like Kevin Feige who puts together.
Tom Cruise does good with Mission Impossible too, right?
Yeah, so you want people to take their jobs as seriously as he does, but without being as eccentric as him.
Yeah, and like Kevin Feige, perfect example, cares about the product, cares about the quality, and cares about how it's crafted, but also not fucking insane. And Tom Cruise is insane. But Mission Impossible
historically, I don't know if I've done it on the podcast, but I've historically voiced a dislike of Tom Cruise because I think he's just like a lunatic, and I don't see him as an action hero because he's like my height. But I do enjoy the Top Gun films.
I fucking hate him too.
There was a funny scene in Maverick where he's kind of doing like an eye-to-eye thing with Miles Teller, and Miles Teller is like significantly taller than him, and it was pretty funny. It's like they actually showed the height difference.
I didn't even notice it when it happened.
Well, Miles Teller can send us the check for putting his career.
Yeah, we'll take the apology whenever he wants.
Yeah, because we put him back on the map. But as I digress, let's spin the wheel one more time before we wrap this bad boy up and close out our Jurassic Park rewatch series. Okay, and it landed on recast Jurassic World.
Wow, perfect.
It was a perfect way to maybe improve this film.
So who do we have to cast? Claire, Owen.
Claire and Owen are the only ones we need to.
I got a good one.
But who else is like? Because everybody else is like interchangeable.
Kids go in and out. The girl whose name I don't even know.
Yeah, sure, her.
Clone girl.
Well, the rest of the cast too. I guess you could recast like the tech guy and the paleobiologist. Even though I hate that.
Claire, Owen,
tech guy, paleo veterinarian,
and then just cast one bad guy. It doesn't matter who it is. You just pick an actor to play the bad guy.
I got two right off the bat. Owen Gray is going to be Carl Urban.
It's Owen Gray.
And tech guy, whatever. And tech guy is going to be Jack Quaid.
Okay.
Because they have really good chemistry together.
So it's the boys? All right, well then the girl that plays Maeve is now Claire.
I love Maeve.
Let me think. Claire easily just becomes Jessica Chastain, right? Nothing's swapped. No harm, no foul. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, that's fine.
And who else? So we have Owen. Is Carl Urban? I'm all right with that.
I love Carl Urban.
Keith Urban would have been funnier, but Carl Urban will work.
Oh,
we
you
get
want
Nicole Kidman in as a dinosaur?
No. She's got to be a paleo veterinarian.
Nah, because I hate the paleo.
Can Nicole Kidman be the person on the electric scooter that gets eaten?
No, just Nicole Kidman AMC ad. Just regular Nicole Kidman's fine.
Nicole Kidman on an electric scooter riding through the park giving her AMC ad speech, and then mid-speech she gets eaten.
Nicole Kidman is the villain.
There you go. That's her. Okay. That's her big monologue. Is the fucking.
That's how I see her as a villain.
Yeah, because she's a villain for me. Real fast before we wrap up, can we recast who could do that AMC ad where you would actually not hate?
Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans.
Hold on,
anybody from a Marvel film is good.
Ryan Reynolds.
One thing I thought was funny. I saw this thing on Twitter. Somebody was like, Nicole Kidman and then Tom Cruise both greeting you at the beginning of Top Gun Maverick feels like you're a child of divorce.
I didn't. That's funny, but the Tom Cruise one I actually liked. I thought that
it felt genuine.
I don't know why they all don't do that. I don't know why they all don't do that. And Tom Cruise is a big movie theater guy. So, like, when it comes from him, I know he means it because he makes.
Tom Cruise could give the AMC speech, and I don't think I would hate it as much. I don't think I could hate anybody as much as I hate Nicole Kidman.
I don't know why. I like Nicole Kidman too.
I don't mind her, but I don't need to see her at the beginning of every movie I see. And as you said, I don't need her asking me to come to the theater that I'm already at.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, man. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. And I always mistime it. I'm always back before it's over.
Yeah, you always get up to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, he's definitely going to get back before this ad starts, and he's going to be upset.
Well, because sometimes
I'm short enough, and there's usually a thing after it that I think you need to go at the beginning of the ad.
Well, sometimes I'm like, what if they don't play it? That's always like what if they don't play it, and then I miss the start of the movie.
They always play it.
So I would recast Owen Grady probably with, I think Carl Urban would be interesting.
I like that. I think that's okay.
Or
I want a Jurassic World where everyone gets called a cunt the whole movie. I think that'd be great.
The guy who plays Arthur Shelby. That would just be so out of left field.
I watched episode 4 today. I don't know how much more I can take of Arthur, actually.
Just hang in there.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's going to get better. I got 2 more left, but...
I was very, very good. I enjoyed it. Like I enjoy every season.
Have you watched any of it, Shane?
Nah.
All right. We won't talk about it.
But... I'm kind of waiting for the boys and Barry. No, Barry's done, right?
Barry's done.
So I was waiting for the boys and Barry, and I'm gonna wait till after Stranger Things, and then I'll just do Peaky Blinders all at once.
Get straight 6 through. I'm caught up on the boys. Barry's over, so I'm doing Peaky Blinders. I'll finish it this week.
I've been just crushing TV. I'm watching Kenobi, watching Miss Marvel when it comes out. The Boys, Peaky Blinders. I finished, and I've started new TV. I started Seinfeld, and I started 6 Feet Under.
Which, by the way, Kenobi finally lived up to what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I really liked this week.
Last week's was fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
Finally, the show I wanted it to be.
It's just funny the Force stuff is very inconsistent.
Yeah,
but that is that I find that the case in all
Vader's very
Star
strong
Wars.
too.
Yeah, and like the he couldn't use the Force through fire, but he stopped his fucking ship, and then the Force battle with the lightsaber was fucking awesome. And then the Reva stuff was predictable. I called that from episode 1. That was her background.
But I see, like, so that's I don't want to do any spoilers for this because it's not over yet. And at this point, if you're this far in the episode and we hit you with a random Kenobi spoiler, I think that's kind of fucked up.
It is kind of fucked up.
I didn't like her plan makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, I understand it, but I'm like, this is it. Like, what about all the other shit you did?
Yeah, just I'm gonna do all this just to get close to this guy.
Mm-hmm. Weird.
Yeah, that's not because he was a bad guy. Well, you're a fucking piece of shit now too.
And
it didn't make sense. I didn't get it.
It's definitely sidetracked from the way it started. The way it started, I was like, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be really good, except for those 2 chase scenes, which are terrible.
I haven't loved it. I liked it. I'm very into it. I'm not.
I'm the same way. I haven't. Like
it's
I watched.
The first thing I watch on Wednesday.
It's not. I watch Miss Marvel first.
Miss Marvel's longer. That's why.
Mm.
Miss Marvel's usually closer to an hour. That's like 35, 40 minutes. So I'll watch Kenobi.
I think it's been directed beautifully by Deborah Chow, but it's lacking
I
in the
don't love
story
Leia
department.
either. Just the
She's
actress.
okay. She's
like
okay.
I don't love the actress. Shane, you're falling in a hole now though because Umbrella Academy came out this past Wednesday. Look at
Yeah.
that.
I know,
But I
dude.
did.
I've been saying this. Like we went 2 years with no new content on anything, and now they're
It's
just
literally Memorial
bombarding me
Day
with it.
until now.
Like
Until
I'm
July 1st,
so
basically,
I'm
right?
so overwhelmed with shows right now.
There's
Like
so much
I'm
shit.
just certain stuff I'm just waiting to watch. Like Peaky
Stranger Things
Blinders, Miss
came out.
Marvel,
The way I
Umbrella
do
Academy. I'm just waiting.
the way I do things, like so I take the train to the city, so that helps. Like I'll watch. So on Wednesdays I'll watch, which I don't enjoy, but I watch Kenobi and I watch Miss Marvel on my phone, which I would prefer to watch it on the screen or like at my TV or even your
I watch a lot on
computer.
my laptop anyway, so
But I can't download it onto my laptop because the way Disney Plus is set up. But like I just watch, I try and find time, and there's one show I watch with Audra that we have one episode left, and we watch Stranger Things together. But I try and watch one episode a day of just so I piece things out.
I don't watch anything that's happening like on
Yes,
actual television.
other than sports,
Yeah,
it's
sports,
like, and the Phillies, you can miss it.
Professional wrestling.
Yeah,
But like,
you could skip some Phillies games here and there because there's so many of them, and I'll give up a night to watch TV. Like
it's very rare that I have to be like, "Ooh, I got to be ready at 8:00 tonight to watch this." So it's just like, okay, at some point when I get home, I'm gonna watch an episode of Peaky Blinders.
Exactly, and so that's what I do. When Peaky came out, I made a point. I got up early the one day and I watched an episode because we were busy.
I fell asleep watching one today. That's another thing that's convenient.
Yeah.
I start to nod off. I'm going to finish this later. Not like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to find this on demand or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that makes it easier with the amount of content that's coming out. I agree with Shane. It's just overwhelming.
It's too much.
Coming out all at the same time.
They should have, it's kind of surprising. Not really for Netflix because, it's been almost a month.
Netflix surprises me because Stranger Things, Umbrella Academy, Peaky Blinders, I'm assuming is different audiences.
Yeah, but
Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy, I feel like are a more similar audience where you would chunk that out.
Yeah, it's like I wish they would space it out more. So I'm choosing to space it out myself, but then I miss out on talking about it when it's fresh with you guys.
Stranger Things.
I'm definitely doing Stranger Things.
Absolutely, but I'm saying you do Stranger Things. It was the Friday before Memorial Day, so the 27th, I think. Same as Top Gun Maverick. Great day in American history.
Yes, it was.
And then you do.
And Kenobi. Kenobi came out the same day.
You're right. Kenobi did come out that day as well. So you do that, and then you just let that. You put out whatever else you want to put out. But if that's going to end July 1st, you put Umbrella Academy out the next week. You're still going to get everybody you need there.
Yeah.
You only have 2 episodes for Stranger Things, so it's not like it's going to be like where it takes people a couple weeks to finish it.
Hey, I'm surprised they didn't pick August. I'm just surprised. And the problem with Netflix is that it's not week to week. That makes things harder because you don't want to see spoilers. You can't talk about it with somebody because everybody's always at different points. And that's why I hate the Netflix format too. Where the other shows week to week, it makes them easier to watch because you don't feel overwhelmed.
I had this conversation with Duke the other day because he was like, I feel like Netflix is making a mistake doing it the way that they do it now. Just because the other streaming platforms have decided, like, fuck. Like, at one point, that was how it worked. And now they've decided, like, no, we're going to do this weekly. The Boys, first season, The Boys came out all at once.
Yeah, and then
second season, they were like, we're not doing that anymore.
Which I like.
It's always been once a week.
I like the 3 episodes. I think that's a good thing. Start with 3.
Start with more than one. Yeah, give people some time. But, like, and I don't know this. I just brought this up because I was going to ask you the question because you're more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. Like, how does the finances work for them? Like, is it just word of mouth? Because Stranger Things still set records. It's just it set records in 1-2 days, and then it kind of simmered. Not that it simmered down; it's still top 10. I think
everybody always just says Netflix could be fucking lying. Like I don't know how their metrics because they're like it's about number of minutes streamed. It's not like the amount of time streamed or how quickly it's been consumed. Like their metrics are so weird. But financially, I don't know.
Is that per streaming device or per account? Because like, what if you're sharing accounts with somebody?
I think it's just total. Like it's just total number of minutes this has been streamed. Whether it's
like if I'm watching and you're watching and there's one episode, that's 2 hours because we both watched it somewhere.
And or even if you rewatch an episode like that,
like I might rewatch Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Before July 1st.
I'm definitely not gonna do that. I don't have time for that.
I love it though. You know how
Yeah,
much
I
love
know.
everything. 7 episodes. I'm sitting in a house for a week doing nothing. I might be able to bang that out, but
I would do that before
I'm not
next
rewatching
season.
the whole series again.
And
I might
Peaky Blind.
rewatch
But
season 4 again.
yeah. So, but anyway, as we have gotten severely off topic,
This is the podcast people wanted.
yes,
you
they
know?
wanted us talk about finding time to fit in everything in June.
Think of how many recommendations our listeners just got if they didn't already watch all this stuff.
True, it's very true.
Hey, so
And
here's the
then
deal.
my
The
final recast is Bill Hader as the nerdy guy. That's
I like
that's
that
it.
too.
And I'm done.
I counter with Bill Hader as every character, including the dinosaurs.
and
I would love to
directing.
see that. And direct. I would love to see that.
Now, I'd like Bill Hader as every dinosaur except one is Seth Rogen.
And Bryce Dallas Howard directed. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. So the first hour and 20 minutes. How long is this podcast right now?
Probably about an hour and a half.
The first hour and 10 minutes of this were about as interesting as Jurassic World Dominion because that's what we were talking about.
Yep.
The last 20 minutes is what we were hoping it was going to be, which was just us
us figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like,
You can only make a shitty movie as interesting as the movie. You're only as good as the worst player on your team, and when that Jurassic World Dominion is one of those players, we were just trying to do our best.
It's the bench. So I think that about does it for us here. We all recommend going to play TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Go and check that out on your local games store.
Very quickly got addicted to it. It's so
I've
much
only
fun.
played level 1.
Yeah,
The nostalgia alone is just incredible.
I will, if we're going to continue to just pick things apart, the tutorial on that game is god awful.
Oh, I hated it. It was terrible.
They just go, hey, here's 21 things that you can do.
Yeah.
All right, go get after it. And I'm like, I don't remember any of those buttons.
That's why I paused it. I had to go to the move menu so many times.
And most of the moves you can't even do until you level up. So it's like, here's something. Remember this 8 hours of gameplay from now when you finally level up to that point.
I just mashed one button the whole time. I did play with Raph. I am.
Are you Raph? I'm
Leo's
Donnie.
my favorite.
I'm cool but rude.
Leo's my
wearing
favorite,
red.
but
I bought this shirt for a reason.
Mikey's pretty fun to play as too, though.
All the turtles are.
Yeah.
But I think that about does it for us here. If you enjoyed our Jurassic World discussion, head on over to your podcast app. Remember to rate, like, and subscribe, or should I say roar, like, and subscribe. And also, we'll be doing a movie talk all summer over at Gateway Gamers. So also check them out. Pretty cool stuff there.
Maybe visit our TeePublic. Get yourself a Jurassically recorded crew neck. I'm wearing the Star Wars one right now. It is very comfortable.
Love that.
It's actually very good quality for what I paid.
I love that, Shane. I love that. Little plug. Get it before it's gone. Limited time on the store.
I mean, our Star Wars on the old store only lasted a day before the copyright took it off. So get it while it lasts.
We just didn't tag them, so it's fine. But for everyone here, have a great 4th of July, right? I think we're not back until afterwards.
Yeah. The following week, we'll have one out.
We'll be back at some point in July. We love you guys. Kiss, kiss. And
Shane, do one more roar for the road.
One more roar?
Before Shane does that, stay extinct. It says stay classy, stay extinct.
That means you're dead then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like this franchise.
That's how hopefully this franchise stays extinct. Jesus Christ.
Hit him, Shane.
Tired of talking about it.
Kind of like the Incredible Hulk. Bye.